subhanAllah, there is so much going on in the world today. So much, right? You know, we got hit with COVID and we were waiting for COVID to subside. And then we get hit as soon as Ramadan is over. It's like Shaitan was ready. He was ready. And he's coming out as the old school term, come up with mollywopping. Came out mollywopping folks with these haymakers. But God is greater. Allah is greater. And one of the things that I've been studying for the last few weeks, and we're actually going to be reading a book. We're doing a book club, or book circle, or halaqah, or however you want to call it. But the concept is, the book is Patience and Gratitude by Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah. And the concept of it is, I call it chicken soup for the millennial soul, really, because, you know, it's a reminder of the importance of patience. It's a reminder and the importance of gratitude. And there's a lot of examples of how the prophetic tradition of pursuing patience and gratitude and in the context of it. So I'm going to open up really quickly with just a quick dua and just these ayats from the Quran that I'm calling on in these moments, and I'm hoping that it will be of assistance to others. But in the Quran, in Surah Baqarah, ayat 2155 through I think like 2157, Allah says, "Be sure we shall test you with something of fear and hunger, some loss in goods or lives, or the fruits of your toil. But give glad tidings to those who patiently persevere, who say when afflicted with calamity, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. To Allah we belong, and to Him is our return. They are those on whom descend blessings from Allah and mercy, and they are the ones that receive guidance." Yeah? So again, these are ayahs from Quran. It's Allah telling us how to deal in times of tribulation. He's giving you very clear understanding of what is happening. You will surely be tested. So no one is getting out of this unscathed. I was saying before, it's almost like if it was a slogan, it'd be life. You can't get out of it alive, right? What is it? Some of the old church folks say, everybody want to get to heaven, but no one want to die. Everyone want to go to heaven, but no one want to die, right? Like, there's so many instances in the Quran that it talks about, you know, be sure that if you're experiencing a hurt, that a similar hurt has been felt by those before you, right? So we know that no matter what it is that we're struggling with or feeling or hurting, there's some groups of people, others who've been before us who've experienced similar hurt or worse. And it's not to diminish, but it's to let you know we're not alone, one. And those who came before us, many of them survived their test, so it's possible for us to survive our test. And these are things to remind us to not fall into despair and give up hope, because the Muslim doesn't despair of Allah, of Allah's mercy, right? So that ayah from Quran, it says again, be sure we shall test you with something of fear and hunger, and some loss in goods or lives, or the fruits of your toil. I mean, COVID did that for enough people off bat. People lost jobs. People had to decide between rents, bills, and food. So it's all these different things, but it says, but give glad tidings to those who patiently persevere, who say, when afflicted with calamity, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. So when you are dealing with the trial of your life, the test of your life, and you're not sure where to go, and you're not sure how to deal. Ooh, scarf. This has been an interesting, like a bloopers reel. You're not sure where to go or how to feel. Call on Allah, turn to Allah, and use the words that He gives us in His truth, the Quran. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And what does it say for these people? They are those on whom descend blessings from Allah, mercy from Allah, and they will receive guidance. They will receive guidance, and Allah's promise is true. Allah's promise is true. So, and it might not be manifested in the way that you want it to be, in the way that we want it to be, when we want it to be. Because it could really stop there. He could just say, you'll be tested, lost goods, lives, and that's it. But he gives you this key, right? About how to call on him. And Allah points to, so this concept of, these are people who, in the Quran, who receive blessings and mercy and guidance from Allah. These are the sabirin. We can be of the sabirin, right? It's not an impossible task. It's not like, you know, even when we talk about be like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu aspire to be like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, there's like always like this impossible limit. People feel like I can be close, but I cannot get, because I can't, you know. This is telling us specifically how we can be amongst as-sabirin. So patience is mentioned in the Quran more than 90 times. So clearly it's pretty important. Patience is half of Iman. It's a foundational structure. So there are 7 attributes that Allah loves and 7 attributes that Allah loves not, which include patience. And half of patience is pausiveness, and the other is forbearance, and hilm, right? Where you get the word halima, right? So I'm going to probably close with this part. Half of patience is pausiveness, and the other is al-hilm. So how do we use that in today's world and dealing with everything that we have? Pausiveness is like the ability to pause and not be reactionary and reflect. And then you can make a decision on how you should react. And when you react, you utilize forbearance, meaning you're guarding your reaction. That it's a controlled reaction. And when I say a controlled reaction, I don't mean we stunt ourselves. I'm saying that we don't let shaitan's whispers, we don't let ghadab, we don't let like anger, we don't let these things control us. We know we're in control of the emotion and of the action, right? Does this mean that we are passive? This religion is not a religion for punks. It's not a religion for people, for cowards. It's not a religion of weakness, right? Forbearance doesn't mean being weak and just turning the other cheek. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was up, he stood upright and he was firm for justice and goodness and righteousness. And he was firm against the disbelievers, the unbelievers, the suppressors of freedom, the suppressor of the oppressors of faith, right? So no, it's not saying that, but it's saying have balance, have balance. So I'm hoping this is a good offering to people in this space, in this time that we are now. My recommendations are to diligently guard and faithfully guard your energy, guard your presence, guard your system, guard your heart. Ask Allah to guide you and to guard you. And when I say this, guard your viewing, because we're taking so much in consistently, it's affecting us consciously and subconsciously. It's affecting us consciously and subconsciously. So take the news, for me, I take the news in spurts. I have a time limit of how much I'm going to take in, and I have a time limit of how much I'm going to let out. And I'll check in at this time of the day, and I'll check in at that time of the day, and that's it. You know, be mindful of negative talk. And when you are in your activism, in your work that God has called you to, answer his call. Always check the ego and make sure that you're not operating from the ego. And just ask Allah for his guidance and his inspiration. And inshallah, may he allow us to handle everything that we need with the hilm, with the forbearance that he prescribes us to have. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.